If we only have love, we will never bow down. We'll be tall as the pines, neither heroes nor clowns. If we only have love, then we'll only be men, and we'll drink from the grail to be born once again. Then with nothing at all, but the little we are, we'll have conquered all time, all space, the sun and the stars. We really will. That song, If We Only Had Love, by Jacques Brel, is a stimulating factor in doing this talk on love. Because he says it all in those lyrics, and we'll go through them together at one point. Love. This is a very important subject. It's been going on, it's been talked about since the time of Jesus and Buddha, thousands of years ago. And they encourage us to think of love as a very important factor in our love, in our days, in our years here on earth. And now, new science, and if you'd believe it, new science in near-death experiences has given us more information on how love is a big factor, not only in this lifetime, but when we pass to the other side. So let's go on to the introduction here. Newborns do not know about love. As a child grows, the world teaches the child love and its meaning. Evidence is clear that there's an inborn need for love, to give love and to receive love by human beings. We need it like we need food. And when we stop placing conditioning on our love, we have taken a giant step towards learning how to love. It's not always easy, but is it important? Yes. I want to tell you a little story about my friend Al, just to give you an idea of how love has so many dimensions. My friend Al and I used to get together at the lake, and we'd philosophize together and talk about all kinds of subjects and go fishing and do things together. But one day, very seriously, he came up to me and he said, "John, my son is in a dark place, and I think he needs help, but I don't know what to do for him. I wonder if you could talk to him." I said, "Well, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but Hal, you're my friend, and if you ask me to talk to him and he agrees, I will." So we set it up. And his son came to me, and we got together in the Assiniboine Park. And we sat down, and he spilled his life out to me in about an hour. And as he talked, it became clear to me there was something here that was missing. And it hit me pretty hard. And I realized that he had never been hugged in his entire life. Never. And I thought, maybe this is a key. My intuition just went into action and told me that. So I said to him, how about we set up an experiment? You ask your son. If he agrees, I'll get together with him and I'll explain it to him. We'll ask him to accept hugs every day from you, and you give him hugs every day, and we'll see what happens. A neat little experiment. And you know what happened? The darkness went out of his life. He started becoming happier. It didn't solve everything, but it helped an awful lot. Now, what does science know about that? What has science done? They've done experiments where they took two chimpanzees, a baby and a mother, and they separated them, put the baby into another cage, and no contact with the mother. And of course, the baby did not thrive. It gradually rolled up into a ball and died. Then they tried another experiment. They took the baby and put it back into the cage with the mother, but this time with an effigy of the mother with fur on it. So it looked like the mother, it felt like the mother, but it wasn't alive. And the baby could cuddle to it. And the baby did much better under these circumstances than it did under the first circumstances. So science was able to show that touching and feeling are really very important to us. That's the point I'm trying to make here. In learning to love, we need to be able to touch and feel. And people will sometimes laugh if you say, oh, everybody needs 3 hugs a day. No, they don't. They need many more than 3 hugs a day. They need all the hugs they can get. And there's a lot of people that are now alone, and they need hugs like they need food, and they crave it. And it's nothing to do with sexuality. That's the point. And Al was in a religious group that didn't want touching because they were worried about sexuality. So let's try to define love. That's a joke, because defining love is very difficult. And you might not think it is, but it is. Scientists have given up on it. They've left it to poets, philosophers, and to men of the cloth. Love can be many things. It can be ecstasy and joy. It can be disillusionment. It can be rational and irrational. Why? Love is not something from the reasoning mind. It's from your heart. It comes from here. That's where your love comes from. And you have to keep your heart open. And I won't explain that all right now, because I've done a talk already where we gave you all the details you need about how to keep your heart open by Singer. Singer gave us the information on how to keep your heart open and how important it was to never let your heart close for any reason, no matter how much you're slighted, how much you're hurt. Leave your heart stay open, because it's important to your thriving. How about characteristics of love? Well, as you probably have even figured out by now, love is a learned reaction. Personal growth of human beings depends on love, just like it does for chimpanzees. Love needs to be experienced, and it needs to be expressed. It needs those two sides of it. And we did another lecture on being back with God, and we were taught that you were taught certain things on the other side, and you had to come back and experience them and then feel them before you could really own them. And go back and look at that, because that's what you have to do here with love. And you're quite capable of it. Love is also patient. And I want to talk to you about another story about patience in love. These are interesting. I had a friend who was a marriage counselor. He's a good friend of mine, beautiful guy. But he was blind, and he had a story that was pretty sad. He went to the war, and his face was blown off. and he went blind. And when they fixed him up, he was still a little bit grotesque, but not that bad. But his wife couldn't take it. She just forced him. And she told the little girl, their little girl, that their daddy had died. You might say it's pain, but that's all she could do. So her daddy didn't know anything about that. He just kept writing her letters, one after another, for years until she grew up. And there's a good part of the story. When she grew up, she found the letters. Her mother hadn't destroyed them. And she found them and she read them all. And she insisted that she see her dad. They had to go from New York to Canada, and they got together with the dad and the daughter expressed a great, deep love together. That talks about the patience of love and the beauty of love. And by the way, the perfect love is one that gives and expects nothing in return. And I'll get back to that, and I'll give you more data on that. You might say that's too much to ask. It isn't. What we're mostly used to is the Hollywood version of love, but it's a superficial story, always, in Hollywood. It's very superficial, and that's what we grew up and we were fed on. And a lot of people, a lot of kids, they get married and they think that's the way love is, but it's not like that. Any psychologist will tell you that if you get married with that kind of a thought in mind, it's fine when you think you're crazy in love, and then the next thing you're married for a short time and everything changes. And then there's a lot of early divorces. Man's potential for love is infinite. You can have as much love as you can muster up, as you can develop in your own self, as you can put into your own program. Excuse me. However, I'm not trying to say that it's easy. It's not. But it's wonderful. And here's one of the problems. To love others, you must first love yourself. Well, you might sit up on your chair and say, well, how can I do that? Well, loving oneself means caring for yourself. Really caring for who you are in yourself. That shouldn't be so hard. We must know, accept, and appreciate our uniqueness, and we should respect ourselves. Of all the billions of people on this earth, you are a special snowflake. You're unique. And once you get that idea in your mind and you understand it, then you can start to feel very good about yourself. And then what happens is this permits you to allow others to do the same. And it's like a miracle that when you do that, when you permit others to do the same, a lot more love will be coming at you. We need to learn also how to banish labels, because man grows up with a static picture of the world imprinted on himself, herself, by conditioning. And conditioning is there for everything that we learn, and we have to unlearn a lot of things as we grow up and become more spiritually aware. Labels trick us too. Like, if you grew up in a family that said, well, people from Indonesia are not nice people, and you just, with one swath of the chalk, you take them right off the board. And then you've taken a million people away from you you're prejudiced about, you prejudge, and you don't give a chance to learn how to love those people. We hope we don't do that. Don't let that trick be played on you, because we've all been made in the same way by God, and God has made us all in His image. So say yes to grow more loving. A lover says yes to life. He does. A lover says yes to joy. A lover says yes to others. And responsible love is empathetic. What I mean by that is, if you really love someone, you really want more for them than you do for yourself. And again, you might balk at that and say, oh, wait a minute, okay, that's going too far. No, it's not going too far. That's the way it is. If you really love someone, you would give your life for them. And another thing, if you love someone, look and listen carefully every day to what's going on, because they are changing in a very beautiful way gradually. And if you don't look and listen carefully, you're going to miss that from not watching. To love, we need to be strong. Our function is to unfold our true self on this earth. That's one of our functions, as couples and as individuals. During this process, remember this: to forgive yourself when you're not perfect at doing it. Always forgive yourself. Like it says in the Lord's Prayer, forgiveness is big. It's big. You got to get used to that. You got to get used to being forgiving, and start with yourself, for God's sake. And don't love to be loved. And I'll give you a great example of that. St. Francis, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, his prayer on God, give me the strength to become pure and peaceful. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled, but to console others. That's what comes first. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to understand, but to be understood, but to understand. I got that next time. Okay? Understand others. Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be loved as to love. That's what St. Francis said to us. And I say that prayer every night, practically every night of my life. And I also repeat the lyrics of this song, If We Only Had Love, because they're so powerful. They're so powerful, and they keep me on the right path. And I'm learning like you are and like we all are. And it's difficult, but you got to keep this subconscious mind on the right path. And I do that in my prayers every night. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful way to be there. And you know, you sleep better when you do that. You're in a nice state, and bad dreams won't come to you when you're thinking about God. Love all. Love everyone. Remember, we are one, aren't we? Like I said, God made us all in His own image. To be a lover requires wisdom, flexibility, sensitivity, and knowledge of philosophy. Don't give up. You can do all of these things. When you make up your mind that you're going to choose love, this knowledge will come to you gradually. And say yes, 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 yes to love. And use 3 words that I always love, and I want to give them to you again. Lather love lavishly. It creates a great picture. You're lathering love lavishly everywhere you go. You're letting it shine out of your eyes and out of your body. You're sending beams out. And as you lather love, and you've got an infinite supply of inside of you, and you'll never run out of it. So why not? Do it. I'm going to read the lyrics of If We Only Had Love by Jacques Brel. If we only had love, then tomorrow will dawn, and the days of our years will rise on that morn. Yes, if we only have love, we'll rise up and we'll start to have a great life right away. If we only have love to embrace without fears, yes, we won't be like Al. We won't be afraid to hug. We won't be afraid of being criticized. We will just do it. Because we want to spread love in a tactile way as well. We will kiss with our eyes. You will let love shine out of your eyes. You've seen people where you look at them and you think, God, they've got such loving eyes. Well, that's the beams of light, of love coming out from their eyes, from their mind, from their heart. We'll sleep without tears. We'll be at peace. If we only have love with our arms open wide, and I love this one. I love this one. I see it like this. With our arms open wide, then the young and the old will stand by our side. They're all attracted to us. Everybody, the young and the old. And that's what happens. They all come back to you because you love them all and they're all coming back to you. You're attracting that love to yourself. You can't lose in this because whatever you're putting out is coming back to you many times fold. If we only have love, love that's falling like rain, yes, it's abundant, then the parched desert earth will grow green again. Yes, it's healing and it's nurturing. Love is, of course. If we only have love for the hymns that we shout and the songs that we sing, then we'll have a way out. Well, I've never sung a song or heard a hymn without investigating to find out what the real meaning of it was. And looking for the meaning is there because the author had a meaning in it when he wrote it, or she wrote it. If we only have love, we can reach those in pain. Yes, you'll have more empathy. You'll be able to see people that need help, and you will offer that help. And as a result, you can heal your own wounds because it'll all come back to you in abundance. And you can use your own name. You can be authentic. And isn't that beautiful? It's a beautiful way to live. He had it all here in this song. If we only have love, we can melt all the guns. And today, isn't that very significant? If we could convince everybody here to spend the rest of their life just sending love out to the world, and then you spread out to your various segments of society and do that, and they start doing the same thing, and then they start doing the same thing with permutations and combinations, love will spread. If we really did it, you might be surprised. Give the new world to our daughters and sons. If we only have love, then Jerusalem stands. In other words, what Jesus told us is the truth. He told us that we will rise again. And then death has no shadow. No, there's no shadow because when you die, your consciousness goes up again and there you are, there's no shadow. And then death has no shadow and there are no foreign lands because you love everybody. If we only have love, we will never bow down. We'll be tall as the pines, neither heroes nor clowns. We'll be powerful in such a beautiful way that we won't need to be a hero or a clown. We could just be who we are and spread and stand high and tall amongst people, spreading your love. If we only have love, then we'll only be men. Of course, we'll only be men. But we'll drink from the grail to be born once again. And how do we drink from the grail? We understand that we've been given a precious gift by God for everlasting life. How big is that? You never die. You just never die. You go on forever. Then with nothing at all, but the little we are, we'll have conquered all time, all space, the sun and the stars. What does that mean? If you get into a deep meditation, and if you go into meditation in a big way, and Ovid will tell you this, you can feel the expansion of yourself out into the cosmos. It's one of the techniques that are used in meditation, and you feel yourself expanding and getting bigger and bigger until there's no limit. That's what he's talking about, and he understands it. So, thank you for listening. I really enjoyed this. And come back for more. And ask the powers to be to have me back, because I want to do more talks. I feel like a phoenix that's risen up out of the ashes. Yes, I've risen up out of the ashes because a couple of weeks ago, I could hardly breathe. And I thought, this is it. But I got together with my doctor and my specialist, and I got my own natural methods together. We put the whole program together, and here I am, feeling as good as I ever feel. And I want to do more of this. So thank you, because I get as much out of this as you do. Thank you for coming.